1970s, Jack Krantz, an Iowa businessman, had a crazy idea which he considered a pipe dream to open an amusement park smack dab in the middle of Iowa in a town called Altoona, about 20 miles east of Des Moines, as he felt Iowa was lacking in the summer fun department and wanted to open a place where his children, as well as the other youths of his home state, could look forward to visiting when the school year ended. So with the help of some outside investors that he knew through his 2 construction businesses that he owned, his, quote, pipe dream became a f***ing reality. And he did it so smart too. They built and opened the Adventureland Inn and Campground right next door to where the park would be without unveiling the park itself. So excitement and predictions grew, thus boasting interest in the park that wasn't even completely constructed yet. Later that year, Mr. Krantz pulled the trigger and announced to the general public that there would indeed be an amusement park opening on June 29th, 1974, and the park was to be called Adventureland. But then a tornado hit the area, and the park's grand opening was delayed by 2 months. And it did open at the end of August, just in time for the end of the season. Some of the opening day attractions included some bumper cars called Frantic Freeway, a classic scrambler called Scrambler, Lady Luck, Lighthouse, a log flume called River Rapids, a rotor called Silly Silo, the Queen, which was a riverboat attraction, and the first roller coaster that sat right in front of the park, the Der Flitzer, custom built for my guys at Zaire. Now, taking a look at Adventureland from afar, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that Mr. Krantz was very heavily influenced from Disneyland. And in 1975, for the park's first full season of operation, just like Disneyland, was a success. And also for the 1975 season, the park received its first new ride, a gift from the Washington State Fair, the iconic Sky Ride. 1976 saw the park receive 2 family flat rides, a paratrooper called Parachutes, and a Teacups attraction. Also that year, the park received its very first new roller coaster, the Super Screamer, a Zyklon Galaxy. In 1978, the park wanted to pay homage to the thing that f***ed up its grand opening, and they built a 93-foot tall wood roller coaster manufactured by PTC, appropriately named Tornado. Now, a lot of people bash this ride. Maybe I caught it on a good day, but I thought it was kind of a hidden gem in the park. In 1983, we got the addition of a huge intimate rapids attraction called Raging River. 1984, we saw the removal of the Queen Riverboat. 1985 saw the park add a Zamperla pirate ship known as Galleon. That year also saw the addition of a falling star. I love falling stars. They're such a simple concept, but they're so much fun. To kick off the 1990s, the park added a custom-built looping roller coaster called Dragon, manufactured by Hopkins? I never got a chance to ride this. I heard it was pretty bad, but then some people says it wasn't as bad as, one of those rides. I don't know. Tell me in the comments, those who rode it. Was it good? Was it bad? I missed it by just a tad. Also that year was the final operating season of the original roller coaster in the park, the Der Flitzer. And it was sent back into Avonturenpark Hellendoorn in the Netherlands, where it operated from 1991 to 1995 as Rilrat. Then in 1996, it was moved to Germany to a park that I don't know how to pronounce, and was renamed something that I don't know how to pronounce. And after that, was moved to another park in Germany called Freizeitpark Plön, where it concluded its service life as Silvermine, where its history came to an end in 2017. But the plot of land where it was located at Adventureland did not go to waste, and in 1991, the park received a beautiful Ferris wheel called the Giant Sky Wheel. In 1993, the park added Outlaw, a CCI wooden roller coaster, only their second coaster they ever built. 3 years after that, in 1996, the park received a custom-built dark ride roller coaster hybrid, manufactured by CCI, called the Underground, featuring that horrendously terrifying animatronic right at the front of the queue line. I mean, for real, take a good look at that f***ing thing. Jeez. The following year, the park added a pair of flat rides, a Huss breakdance called G-Force, and a Zamperla mixer called Mixer. 2 years later, in 1999, the park added a 225-foot tall shot tower manufactured by S&S called Space Shot. And it was also the final operating season of Super Screamer, and this thing went all over the place after that. First, it went to Splash Kingdom Water Park in Redlands, California, where it operated for 6 years as Screamin' Mummy. Then it was sold to Swampy Jack's Wongo Adventure in Panama City Beach, Florida, where it operated as 1970 Galaxy Riptide Coaster. I didn't make that up. And it operated there for 1 season. Then it was sold to Hydro Adventures in Poplar Bluff, Missouri, where it operated as Galaxy 500 for 2 years. And then it found its current home at Cedar Valley's Wild Frontier Fun Park in Commons, Michigan, where it operates as Galaxy 500 Coaster. Taking up the plot of land where Super Screamer existed was a bad flat ride manufactured by Chance in the Inverter. 2 years later, in 2002, the park received a new water ride in Sawmill Splash, a spinning rapids attraction manufactured by Whitewater West. Also that year, we saw the Adventureland Inn get a huge expansion and almost double in size. In 2004, the park added Sidewinder, a Moiser Frisbee attraction. 2005, we have the removal of the mixer, and the following year, we got the addition of another Moiser flat ride in Splashover, one of their top spin models. But also 2006 was a sad year in the park's history, as park founder Jack Krantz passed away. His children took over responsibility for the park and carried on. The park remained pretty quiet for 4 years until 2010, when a fire broke out during the off-season on Main Street and burned half of it down. Now, as this tragic fire took place at the front of the park, all the way in the back of the park, the largest expansion within the park's gates was taking place, as they were constructing a beautiful water park known as Adventure Bay, which opened just in time for the start of the season. At the start of the 2011 season, the part of Main Street that completely burned to the ground was reconstructed and as beautiful as ever, and self-equipped to put out fires. 2013, we said goodbye to an opening day attraction as we bid farewell to the Silly Silo, but that was to clear space the following year for a new attraction, Storm Chaser, a 260-foot tall Mondial Star Flyer. From the very top, you can see downtown Des Moines easily. 2015, we said goodbye to another opening day attraction, the Log Flume, known as River Rapids. Now that upset a lot of the locals, until they got to ride what took its place. And in 2016, the park added Monster, a Gerstlauer infinity coaster. I've been on every roller coaster in the Midwest, and Monster is in my top 5. It's that good. 2017, the park said goodbye to the Inverter due to its ridiculously high maintenance costs. And 2 years later, in 2019, that plot of land was put to good use, as the park added Phoenix, a Mauer spinning coaster. At the end of that season, the park announced 2 closures, as we were saying goodbye to Splashover and Dragon. And 2 years later, on the plot of land where Dragon once stood, we got Dragon Slayer, an S&S 4D coaster. And also that year, we said goodbye to 3 attractions in Lady Luck, Lighthouse, and Falling Star. The end of the 2021 season was easily the most rocky in the park's history. First, it was announced that the park would receive some competition for the very first time in its history. In nearby Waterloo, Iowa, a brand new theme park was about to open its gates in Lost Island. And also a horrific accident involving the raging rapids. And by the end of that season, I don't know if all these factors had something to do with the decision, but the Krantz family decided to sell the park. The purchaser was Palace Entertainment, a subsidiary of Parques Reunidos, based out of Spain. And they quickly announced for 2022 that they would be adding a ton of children's rides. Which, okay. And also midway through that season, they announced there would be a Halloween event for the first time in the park's history, as we get the debut of Phantom Fall Fest. In 2023, the park will add 2 new attractions, a family roller coaster called Flying Viking, and a new log flume called Draken Falls. It's very hard to go wrong with Adventureland. I've never gone to this park and had a bad time, and one could easily spend a full day here. It has just enough of everything. Family rides, thrill rides, live entertainment, hell, there's even an amazing water park here. Some people consider Adventureland the magic kingdom of the Midwest, and I understand why they say that, but Adventureland has grown into its own identity, and continues to please guests all over the Midwest.